joined by Gerard Healy, and I suppose for the Bulldogs this year it's a chance to make up for the premiership that got away last year.
Well, they were in the box seat there, particularly at three-quarter time against the Crows, but it wasn't to be, and well, they've done everything right this year to really set themselves up with another chance. And we do believe that there has been one late change. The skipper, Scott Wind, is missing from action today. He wasn't in the early game warm-up, and he's been replaced by Craig Ellis. So a fair bit of responsibility will come down to Luke Darcy in the middle of the ground, and he leads a pretty mobile and talented midfield. Scotty West, Romero, Garlick and Brad Johnson have all had very good years. Brett Montgomery also a very good player, but as always, Chris Grant will be the general and the key player on the ground. He does really deliver plenty of opportunities for the host of crummers, in particular Colin Yook and Paul Hudson up forward.
Jared, Barry Stoner missing for the Cats again, as he has been so often. Gee, before you were chairman of selectors for the Vicks, he was just about first pick, wasn't he?
He was one of my favourite players, but since then, about 5 years ago, he's had a regular membership at just about every hospital in town.
Well, here he is now, the professional interviewee with Peter McKenna.
Well, Barry, 6 losses in a row. How's the morale around the club?
Morale's still quite good, which is unusual because 6 losses in a row is at worst for probably 10 or 15 years. So the morale is still quite positive. A lot of injuries, but the guys are really keen today to do well. And look, the young guys, a big opportunity for them to play well today.
Well, you have blooded a few young guys, particularly Clint Bizzle has been impressive. Any others that you can look forward to the future to become regular players?
Yeah, I think Hamish Simpson, who played a great game second half against Tony Lockett last week, he's only played 5 games. And a big ask for Hamish last week after the plug kicked 8 goals. So Hamish is a big chance to go on for further years. Jason Snell, Stephen King, all these guys have been around for 2 or 3 years. And I think today also Cameron Roberts is another player in who really is only 19 or 20-year-old, a great build for a player, and hopefully can go on from years to come.
Now, an Achilles tendon injury. Now, how's that affected your future? Are you keen to go for another couple of years?
I am, yeah, certainly. I had a surgery last Monday with David Young, and he's very positive. He said, no worries, another month I'll be swimming and bike riding, and I won't run for 3 or 4 months, but one more roll of the dice next year, and hopefully if I get through next year, another year. But I think another 2 or 3 years if my body holds up to it, but if the body breaks down, well, I'll probably give it away.
Well, good luck, Barry, because the side certainly needs you.
Thanks, Peter. Thanks very much.
Good on you, Baz. Let's hope we see him back. One change for the Cats today. Barnes out with his hernia and Roberts comes in.
Yes, and keep an eye out for Clinton Bizzell, who has played some fantastic footy in recent weeks. Just a youngster in about his 2nd year, but their strength also lies in midfield. Colbert, Kilpatrick and Hocking is a pretty talented group of players that'll be roving to Stephen King, who may just still, after taking the knock, just push down into defence. David Mensch also, may get the job on Chris Grant. And Buddha Hocking, well, what a star he's been. What a champion player of the AFL competition. And, well, you'd reckon he'd go up against the likes of Jose Romero.
Might keep an eye on Buddha today. When these teams met last year, Buddha and Wirra were both reported after a little tete-a-tete they had. The game about to start, and we'll be back at Optus Oval after a short break. And even before the bounce, Romero coming in for a bit of attention here from Darren Milburn. There they go. And the bounce in the middle. It comes out towards the wing. Dimatina gives chase. Taken off the ball and socket away. Straight across the ground it went out of bounds.
Great start by Luke Darcy. I'm looking forward to just having a look at how he goes today. I think he is the one player at the Western Bulldogs that could really lift and make a big difference as they drive towards the premiership. And without Scott Wine, well, he's got a big opportunity.
And youngster Stephen King has worked his way back into the side after problems with a broken arm this year. He missed 3 games, and you can see the guard on his right forearm. And with Barnes out injured today, he'll just about have to ruck all day.
The players won't give the umpire a chance to bounce the ball. Get out of there, you guys. Luke Darcy, Pete, he could become a Spider Everett type.
He's certainly good. He's got the talent and skill, particularly he's got that skill too, Jared.
Darcy gets over the top again. Scholl for the Cats, breaks away after a slight stumble. Pokes the ball up towards half forward for Hall, but the kick wasn't very well directed and out of bounds. I think we'll see a lot of the play right under the commentary box today with the wind blowing the ball right underneath us.
Well, it's at half forward for Geelong. They would want big games from guys like Derek Hall and Brett Spinks if they're to win this game. There's Darcy to Smith. And Rowan Smith hugs the boundary line. A one-on-one contest. Scholl did pretty well in the body work there. Sanderson dives in. Colinook off the ground, didn't muck around. Romero is in there after it. Raleigh is crunched to ground by Curley. And pretty good umpiring there because that was a legitimate tackle.
Well, both players hard at the ball, and Hamish Simpson with the job on Chris Grant. Probably a little bit fortunate not to be penalised for in the back, but he's a pretty tough cookie, they reckon.
Well, here's Scholl, he can weave in and out of packs. He's got an amazing capacity to do just that. The halfback Cameron couldn't mark it. Hall gives it off to Minch. Minch sets sail for goal, and he might just sneak that in for a behind. He does. So first score of the game to the Cats.
Good start by Geelong, although not the major that they'd be chasing, but there has been a fair bit of discussion about their indirect style of play, and just these early minutes, Pete, looks like they're going to go perhaps a little bit more direct towards the big sticks.
So Dent to kick in for the Bulldogs. With the breeze. That's a fantastic kick. Straight to Leon Cameron, who celebrates game 150 today. Perfect kick by Cameron. Romero couldn't quite mark, and the hand pass was poor, and it's been chopped off by Milburn. Well done to Hall on the defensive side of the ground. Kick by Derek Hall, inside 50. Spinks goes to ground. He slipped on the just the moving turf. Over the ball, Snell. The umpire will ball it up just outside the 50. The Cats with the first score are behind.
Craig Ellis, interestingly enough, has made his name as a key defender, but he's started up in the forward line. He's at full forward. He's been picked up by Lee Colbert, who's been dragged well and truly out of the play.
So just outside 50, Geelong scoring in. Taken away by Darcy. He'll enjoy this, being the #1 man. There's a nice mark taken by Bizzle, who is in terrific form. 2 weeks ago, best on ground. He gives it to Sanderson, who brings it across the ground. That's good play, and the mark has been taken there for Geelong by Hamish Simpson, who went on to big Plugger Lockett last week and did reasonably well. He brings it into Bizzle, just a little bit over his head, but he's got it. Here's a chance for a goal coming up. Clint Bizzle, oh, he's drifted it to the right, and that was a real opportunity.
Yeah, good passage of play by Geelong once again, attacking the goals. They brought the ball through the middle and then went wide. But some pretty good signs by Geelong, and just a bit of fumbling by the Bulldogs, and that errant kick suggests that maybe they aren't on the ball.
Well, Dent has kicked with the wind there, and he gave it too much elevation and went out of bounds without being touched. So Hall with the free kick, kicking back into the teeth of this breeze. Well out from goal, but Cox takes the mark. All Bulldogs on the outer side of the ground. Dimatina. Gee, he can get out the space, can't he, Paul Dimatina? Up to centre wing with perfect delivery, Montgomery.
And that's the side of the ground that the Bulldogs have got to run the ball through.
Rowan Smith, who so often starts them off with goals in the first quarter. This time looks for Grant. Well done by Simpson. Well, Lockett 1 week, Grant the next. That's not a bad double.
Yes, and he's got Superman next week, evidently, so things are going to get a little bit tougher for him. Let's hope he's up to the challenge. Maybe he's got some kryptonite, Pete.
Well, he might need a plug on these sort of guys, but he's a promising young player. There's the ball locked in. King and Darcy. I thought Superman had retired. Gary Ablett.
He has, but well, who knows? He might make a comeback down at Torquay.
So it's just outside 50 down the Bulldogs scoring end. Geelong lead 2 behinds to the Bulldogs yet to score. Simpson used his body pretty well there. Over the back, and with a hand pass away, it's a free kick. Hamish Simpson handball, and he's letting it go. So it'll be a throw-in.
Well, just tell us if this is deliberate or not.
Now, was that deliberate? The Bulldog supporters were appealing for it. Darcy playing for a free kick. Oh, I thought that was an Academy Award performance there.
No, I think that was a square up from Grant Vernon. He thought it was deliberate, the last handball.
So Luke Darcy brings it in towards half forward. Mark, a good mark taken by Hocking. He plays on the shoal. Oh, they got the loose man going here in Bizzle. He can run if it sits for him. He might have a bounce. Oh, it's slippery part of the ground. He'll kick it this time for sure. And he belts it hard and high over 50. Well, it actually drops short of 50 in the finish. There's Snell getting it to Mansfield. He loves to duck and weave. Here's Gary Hocking. Gee, that was beautifully done. That is fantastic play for a goal.
Yeah, great goal it was, Peter. What a ball. Sold the dummy beautifully under pressure, and once again the runners giving Clint Bizzle a nice old earful, but maybe he should also be saying, pretty good work, young fellow.
giving him a bizzling.
He was. He gave him a nice old bizzle, but have a look at this ball. There's one from Mansfield. Sets up Buddha hogging for the hospital. But Buddha just evaded that tackle, and what a good way to start his goal-kicking list for the day.
Well, we can only guess, but perhaps the runner was saying to Bizzle, you've got to get the ball over to the other side of the ground as you approach goal. Here's Darcy for the Bulldogs. Out to Dent, who's been doing the kick-ins, but here he is at half forward. Oh, he took a week and lost it. Dimartino, back to Dent. This time one touch is good enough. Dent steers it in low, Romero. Chopped off by Lee Colbert. Oh, shocking kick. That didn't go sideways, went backwards. Simpson out of the 50. It comes to Ellis, a late inclusion, and Ellis gets the Bulldogs on the board with a behind.
Well, once again, we've seen a couple of pretty ordinary mistakes. Well, we saw the one by Lee Colbert, but we'll forgive him for that. It was his first touch for the afternoon, but the Bulldogs just a little bit over-possessing the footy at the moment. But Luke Darcy doing really well in the middle of the ground. He's taken it out himself on 2 out of 3 occasions.
Sanderson has brought it in short, as we so often see, to Brad Scholl. King at the back, tried to use his body. Umpire calls play on. Grant to Ellis. Now Montgomery. Montgomery's going to chip it across. No mark. Raleigh, and a free kick, in fact. So Raleigh will take it.
The Bulldogs, Peter, just got to settle down and start kicking the ball long until they get a little bit of touch.
Well, Kilpatrick kicked it long on this occasion. Snell went in hard after it. So did Mansfield. Smith is there. Tapped out by Cox. The runners are on, and the first one to get there is Cameron. Leon Cameron swings onto the left. Milburn. Oh, he spoiled well, Milburn. Oh, the hand pass was intercepted. That allowed West to belt it down towards half forward. Here's Scholl. Oh, he did well, Scholl. He's got some support down here by Steinford, or from Steinford, I should say. Steinford. Back it comes to Sanderson. Further afield, it was from Hamish Simpson, and now it's a free kick against number 27 down there, Tyson Lane, who did so well against Collingwood. And it's a free kick to Geelong to Hamish Simpson.
And already the Bulldogs have made a change. Craig Ellis, who looked a little bit uncomfortable in the forward line, has been pushed down into defence. He's picking up Derek Hall. And now he's just moved over onto Colbert, but he'll push back down into defence.
Here's Lee Colbert, defensive 50. Back to Stephen King, who gave it to him in the first place. King at right half back. Defensive side, long way to goal from there, and that floats out with the breeze. So the Cats continue to play this flank unsuccessfully so far.
The Bulldogs will try and push the ball to the other side of the ground because they have got a loose player in Montgomery just lurking along that wing.
Smith's kick knocked down by King. Bulldogs just outside 50. Romero takes the hand pass, gives it off to Darcy. Darcy infield. Here's Brad Johnson. Takes it outside the 50. Eventually saw Montgomery, but the kick wasn't good enough. Montgomery eventually to Martin. Martin from 52 on the breeze. Offline for a behind.
Looked like a bit of a throw in there, Gerard.
Yes, it was a legitimate Crow throw, that one, Pete.
6 points the margin. The Cats in front. They're doing pretty well, because I'd say scoring in will probably be by a couple of goals to the left of screen. The Bulldogs are kicking that way. We saw a determined Hawthorn last week against the breeze take it up to Richmond and then went on and win the game last week. Centre wing, a flyer is Ellis. Umpire says no mark. Colbert. Now Raleigh. Raleigh, some good shepherding from Riccardi. That's holding the ball. Ooh, lucky. Ellis is caught high. Free kick to Ellis.
Tell you what, this crowd's about 95 to 5 in favour of the Bulldogs. I think the Cats fans have given up on them.
Well, that looked like prior opportunity, and the free kick should have been paid. Craig Ellis was the recipient of the head-high tackle.
Yep, no doubt about that. Here's Darcy. He seems to be in everything at the moment. On to Rowan Smith. He can come inside to Dimartino. He elects to kick to Tyson Lane. 2 bites of the cherry, and he is marked, and he is a very long kick. Tyson Lane, he'll have to kick this from 50.
Well, we heard from Terry Wallace before the start of the game, and Tyson Lane, who got a bag full last week, was on the rotation through the forward line, but I think he'd stop rotating them if he could come up with a bloke that could kick 4 or 5 every week. And, well, most weeks anyhow. And this guy could be the answer.
He's probably a shorter forward option, but he's pretty mobile and strong and is a booming kick normally. It'll be a question of accuracy here as he kicks right on the 50-metre line. He ran out to the right, and then has he kicked this? No, I thought he just missed it.
So the kick in with the breeze again to the defensive side. Dimartina has it for the Bulldogs. So the Cats really haven't worked out how to get out of trouble. And right in front now is Martin. He is 50 metres from goal and not without a chance. Breeze right to left, slightly behind.
Yes, he's just got to aim this one at the right-hand goal post and allow it to drift back. But rather than going looking for this option, he should go back and kick this. He's a long enough kick. The umpire, in fact, called play on.
Now Martin on the turn, on the run. Right to the goal line, away to the right. Oh, good mark by Grant. By Darcy. But it's gone over the line for a point. Yeah, so give it a behind to Michael Martin. That's his second for the game.
Unfortunate, but good signs for Luke Darcy. This is a pretty big jump. And he, according to the goal umpire, took the second bite behind the goal line there for a point. But Mickey Martin just mucking around with that footy, and then he goes to prove that he could kick the distance after all, albeit under pressure.
Sanderson bringing in, he's going for the long option. Ellis is there. Chipping across the front was Colbert. He did that very, very well. On to Steinford. Steinford to centre wing, and it's thumped over the line by Bradley Wirra. He's playing on Snell. Geelong by 4 points, but they're kicking into the breeze. The ball is holding up, kicking to the right. So the Bulldogs will have to get a move on. They've got another 10 minutes left in this term. Mensch has the ball smothered. It's on centre wing. Johnson on the left. Geelong back there with numbers. Geez, a clever player. Sholly read that beautifully.
Well, he's just been given the loose man licence just to roam across that half-back line, and he's picked up a stack of possessions early.
That's a mark. That is a mark. He's the only guy who touched that. Oh, gee. Milburn puts it out in the full, but I've got no doubt he's the only guy who touched that.
It looked like it, didn't it, Pete?
Well, the payoff for having Scholl loose is at the other end, Curley is loose for the Bulldogs.
Well, he certainly got first, second and third bites, but not good enough according to the umpire.
Leon Cameron at the wing. Half distance past to Grant, who has a break on Simpson. 2 kicks to goal from there, maybe 3 at that distance. Romero marks. On the run is Smith. Raking kick by Rowan Smith. Offline and out of bounds on the bounce. Throw in the forward pocket.
Cats doing pretty well, though, blocking up the Footscray half-forward line in particular. They're just dropping a couple of extra players along that half-forward line, their half-back line, and the Bulldogs are struggling to find a free player down there.
Interesting to see Hudson starting the game on interchange. He's their leading goal kicker this year with 41, but he is returning this week. Interchange bench hasn't been used yet.
There's Stephen Powell running around there. He cleaned up Paul Williams last week. And it's put him out for the season, actually. Oh, Sanderson. Oh, that was flicked out of his hand. That was cleverly done. That's well played also. Hamish Simpson on the Colbert. Gee, they're working hard in defence. Look at that ball holding up in the breeze. Ellis. Now Ramiro. Outside 50. He's flattened. Oh, this is a free kick down the field. It'll be a kick. Tyson Lane will probably get it right in front of goal. Ramiro was absolutely flattened. And a fraud. I thought the umpire was going to report him then.
There's a bit of history between Bulldogging and this team.
And Michael Mansfield having plenty to say. In fact, to take the kick was Brett Montgomery from right in front. So a goal probably coming up here to the Bulldogs. You just can't afford these late tackles that result in an easy kick.
And they desperately need a goal, Pete.
Yes, Geelong doing well down there, battling hard in defence. Montgomery has kicked the goal.
Well, Well, so often the Bulldogs start quickly. A couple of times this year they've kicked 8, 8 and 11 in the first quarter. So this has taken them nearly 17 minutes to get their first goal.
And they're assisted by the wind, and they really got it by virtue of just an iffy free kick there. Certainly Jose Romero made it look a little bit worse than it actually was, but maybe it was there. Brent Montgomery, he'd be pretty pleased to be on the end of that one. What do you think, Pete? Was it there?
Oh, it was a touch-and-go one, wasn't it?
Darcy dominating. Romero gets hold of Hocking this time, and it's on between the two of them at ground level. This time it's a free kick to Buddha. Well, Romero wanted to go on with it after the ball had disappeared. Good kick by Hocking out to Wood. Great pass to Spinks. Well, the Bulldogs' goal came from a relayed free, and a Cats' goal might come from a free kick in the middle.
This will test the breeze here, Drew and Jared, because this guy's one of the best kicks for goal in the competition. He is a long kick, so just watch how the breeze affects this. Mind you, he has got the grandstand round there to protect him a little bit.
Yes, but right into the teeth of the direction of the breeze is Spinks. He's kicked 31 goals, 18 for the season. This will test from 50 metres. Oh, that is a kick and a half, but even that holds up and is touched right on the line by Credihook, through for a rush behind. Good call, Pete.
Yeah, good call, Pete. You could see that off the boot, Drew. It looked like it was going straight through the big ones, but it did hit the brick wall, and it just floated on the wind. And good defence there by the Western Bulldogs. And you would think that Leon Cameron, if he can find a long target, would prefer to do that.
Well, he elects to play on instead and drive it long, almost to centre wing. The Geelong player swooped. Colbert was over the back. Oh, Curley went for the bounce. The ground a little bit slippery. Now he's going to transfer play here to Smith. Almost intercepted. Smith, oh, he's caught. No. Oh, gee, was able to weave out of that. That was good play. Sanderson at the back. Thumps it away. Taken by Michael Martin. That was good football. To Cox. Cox gives it off to Collinook. Collinook around the corner has kicked a goal. No, he's missed. Oh, goodness me. Cox could have gone back and had a set shot from 20 metres. He's given it to Collinook, Jared, and, well, always a risk.
Had too many options.
Well, I reckon Terry Wallace at quarter time will be just questioning the style of footy that his team are playing. They just seem to be over-possessing the footy, maybe just trying to play a little bit of champagne brand of football, ignoring the basics.
That's a good kick by Sanderson, back out to into the breeze. Hocking Rhodes getting the hoots of the Bulldogs fans. Puts a hand pass out wide, and here goes Peter Riccardi gliding down the wing. Now on the breeze to Spinks. Oh, straight through his hands. It's in the goal square and rushed through for a behind by Wirra.
It's a full forward's dream, that one, Jared, the way that was brought in.
Yes, it should have been a mark, no doubt about that. And it looks like young Cox is coming off the ground, Pete.
Well, look, I'm a firm believer if you mark anywhere near goal, go back and have a kick when you're 20 metres out, 10 metres. I mean, they're gimme goals really from there. It's just not worth the risk to give off the hand pass. Oh, he slipped Smith as he kicked it. It's allowed Kilpatrick in onto Mansfield. This might cost them a goal. Mansfield has a pot shot, still holds up in the breeze. Croft did well against Spinks. Takes it away, looking for Dimartini. He finds him in half-back, and you can see the breeze. I reckon it's a 3-goal breeze going to left of screen.
So the Bulldogs have kicked just one. They'll get a spanking at quarter time. Here's Romero. Put down after he got rid of the kick. Up towards 50. Collingwood, and the ball out of play. Held but not in possession.
Goodness me, what did you see of that, Jared?
Well, the umpire, look, Steve Collingwood did a great job at feigning this, and down he went. That was brilliant acting.
Oh, so Hamish Simpson a bit unlucky. Collingwood, Lane, oh, had it. Gobbled up, should have marked. The Bulldogs are creating every mistake in the book, and will Terry Wallace be into them?
They're not playing well, Jared.
No, they're playing poorly. In fact, they're lucky not to be 2 or 3 goals behind. But the rot set in, hasn't it? One mistake has been compounded by another, and then another, and they're still not trying to play that basic brand of footy that they play so well.
Well, King got the hit out. Collinook up in front of goal. They fly. The Geelong defence doing well. Buddha Hocking's doing well. Oh, dangerous. out in the full. Gee, some skill errors in this game.
That's travelled 15 metres to go out on the full.
Well, King put it out in the full on this boundary line. Now Buddha hogging. So Steve Collinock would want to make up for that miss before, but he's probably, well, he is too far out. He's going short. The lead is on. Good lead by Tyson Lane. Oh, he was about to go off. They've got this play on in their brains at the moment. He's a booming kick. You ought to go back and have a shot.
Yeah, playing on is a fair option, but right at the moment, you just get a feeling that they've got to settle down. They've got to go back and play legitimate, hard footy, and maybe just try, and if there is an option, it's just got to be an absolutely spot-on one.
Well, we're under the 5-minute mark to go in this term. A good quarter by Geelong. So Tyson Lane just inside 50. Oh, that looks a magnificent kick off the boot. Right through the middle. So the Bulldogs needed it. They lead by 7 points, kicking with the win.
Well, it's pretty basic stuff, isn't it? You mark the ball 40 metres out, you go back and you kick a goal. Unless there's an absolutely certain option up the ground, that's just as good as any. Otherwise, you've got to pinpoint a pass, he's got to mark it, and then the other player's got to go back and do exactly what Tyson Lane has done so successfully there. And he does look like a very talented, long-distance shot at goal. Garriers, he'd be pretty happy right at this point in time.
The ball back in the middle, and at last the Bulldogs get their second goal. They're still goals behind schedule. Riccardi out of the middle with a spiral well inside 50. Off hands it comes to Credior. Puts it wide towards the outer wing. Riccardi going to get his second kick in 15 seconds. Centering job. Mensch is there, and Hall. Credior pokes over the hand pass. Croft straight up the centre corridor, but he missed Rowan Smith. Many there in backup. Romero to Cameron. Great pass by Cameron. No mark to Curley. It's a push in the back by Curley, and the free kick goes to Bizzle. Well, he was prone. He was on the deck.
I actually couldn't see that, but it's been paid. Centre wing. Here's Steinford. They're getting plenty of the play. That's a good little chip kick up to Milburn. Milburn can play on. He's bringing it in short. That's a good kick to Mansfield. Now, even from here, well, he might just make the distance from here, kicking into the breeze.
Once again, we saw, well, another worrying sign for the Western Bulldogs. They had 4 players running in unison. That's great. But their spot-on skills that have made them the top side in the competition let them down once again with a less than acceptable kick to Curley, and then he should have probably marked it, and he missed it as well.
Well, a vital kick coming up here. Oh, you can see that he's trying to get that extra distance, floats it up. Here's, oh, this might be a goal. I think it was kicked by Wood. I think this is a goal. Yes. I'm pretty sure it was young Justin Wood that put that one through. A good effort. There he is, and he's getting the congratulations. And what a vital goal that, getting towards quarter time.
Yeah, you see the ball just poking its nose around to the face of the square, and
drop kick.
Wood in front of Johnson roved it beautifully, got the ball down quickly, didn't he, Pete? And a good goal, and a dangerous one also for the side on top of the table.
Young Justin Wood, playing his 4th league game, gets his first career goal. And the Cats trail by a point. It comes down to Hocking inside the 50. Well, Ellis charged at it and missed it. Credior for the Bulldogs, and they're finding space out on the attacking side. Collingwood, it bounces away from him. Just able to keep it in. They charge towards the southern side of the ground. Cameron in short. Now a chance for the Bulldogs to goal from that side. Romero bowled over after he got rid of it. Relayed free again. Grant had taken the mark anyway. Grant's hand pass in to Steve Collingwood. To a nest of players. Don't know who that was for. Oh, Scholl gets on his bike. Scholl up towards centre wing. Hall. The punch came from behind. Little hand pass Dimatina to Grant. Grant across the ground misses Darcy. Good heavens. Clanger has become a new stat in the game. There must have been 50 clangers in this first quarter. Brad Wirra. And that will be a free kick to Wirra.
Brad Wirra off and running, the little back pocket player, across the ground to half forward. It clears the pack, Steinford and Smith, and they both knock it towards the line. But with a point the difference, Western Bulldogs in front. I'd say this is a top quarter by Geelong.
Yeah, I think the way they've bottled up the Bulldogs forward line really has just made them a little bit uncertain as to where they're going to kick the footy, and that lack of confidence has swept through the side to the point where they have made as many clangers as I've seen them make for maybe 2 years.
Kilpatrick has put that ball out on the full. It'll be a penalty kick out here to Scott West with just under 2 minutes to go till quarter time.
And isn't that one of the best new words to come into the football terminology? Clanger. It says it all.
So Scotty West was in brilliant form early in the season. Last few weeks haven't been quite as good. Grant bumped out of it. Hocking playing a blinding first term. Over to Colbert. If those two take over this game, Geelong will be right in this, and I think they'll be happy to see this. Bizzle quite happy to see that roll over the line. Way out at half forward for the Bulldogs. But the big question, Gerard, will be in the next term with the breeze, as we see a worried looking Terry Wallace, whether Geelong can capitalise up forward.
And I wonder whether they will put Lee Colbert into the forward line to just help them out with their level of talent up there. He's done a very good job in defence into the wind in this quarter, and maybe the move will be made to push him into the forward line in the next.
You talked about Hocking, Pete. He's had 7 possessions in the first term, only matched by Steve Collinuk for the Bulldogs, who's had 7 kicks. Bounced by umpire Sheehan. Darcy couldn't get a kick. Collinuk flies one off the ground, nearly kicked Scholl over the stand. Scholl, good recovery and perfect disposal. Steinford just behind the wing, up towards half forward. This is good for Snell. About 3 kicks to goal from there. Time running out in the last minute of the first quarter. It holds up, but it's inside 50. Hall lost sight of it. Regathers. Good tackle by Lane. Lane, who kicked the goal, here he is back defending. The umpire will ball it up.
So just inside 50. Bulldogs look a quicker side than Geelong, but still a fair bit of talent in this Geelong side. Just a matter whether they can capitalise up forward. It's knocked down by Spinks, taken away by Cameron. They've got 17 seconds in this term. I think Geelong will be, they'd be happy to see it out, the Cats. Well, I thought that came off hands, and that's what Chris Grant is saying. I didn't think it came off a boot.
Scotty West is having his problems getting away from Peter Riccardi. He's had just the 2 possessions at this stage, and Riccardi getting a fair bit of the footy.
Here's Bizzle. Hand pass to Mansfield. Had no chance of getting rid of it. Socket off the ground. Siren sounds to end a term where the Bulldogs were kicking with the breeze, and Gary Hocking was fantastic. And Gerard, I'd say honours definitely with Geelong in that quarter.
Yeah, no doubt about it, Pete. The Bulldogs had their opportunities, but they overplayed a lot of situations to the point where they just, I think, played themselves into trouble. And right at this stage, you'd say that Geelong are playing a more honest brand of footy, a more calculated brand of footy. And the job is definitely in front of the Bulldogs to be competitive at half-time. Mansfield at full back for the Geelong side. He started up in the forward line, and well, Ronnie Burns could be a danger in this quarter.
Stephen King wins the first hit out. Darcy had 7 possessions in the first term and was one of the best. Kilpatrick back with his hand pass. Hall a bit too slow and holding it. Good tackle by Martin. Floats the hand pass to Wirra on the run. The Bulldogs looking to spark at the start of the second term. The kick to centre half forward. No mark taken. Comes down to Montgomery. The hand pass into Romero. Romero puts it wide to Lane, who slipped away. And Lane marks on the attacking side. And if he could kick 50 metres at the other end, he could certainly get this, but he goes short. And Hudson has it for his first touch. Started the game on the bench, Paul Hudson. Came on about the 20-minute mark in the first term.
And they just looked a far better football team in that first couple of minutes. Their forward line far more open as we see a couple of the boys going toe-to-toe, and the old neck stranglehold becoming pretty popular in footy these days.
Lane and Mansfield, gee. Lane, all he's got to do is walk away from that. Hudson goes from 47 metres. That's why he's leading goal kicker. Beauty.
start from the Bulldogs, once again using Paul Hudson as a virtual kicker, just getting the ball 10 metres, maybe 10.5 metres, whatever it takes, getting it to him, because he is such a great converter. One of the most accurate shots at goal in the competition. That was the kick that set up the goal, though. The Jose Romero left-footed to lane was an absolute beauty. And maybe the Bulldogs will play a better brand of football, kicking the ball into the wind. And Tyson Lane just wants to settle down, or will end up missing the next few weeks.
Centre bounce, vitally important. 7 points the Bulldogs lead. Well, there's Milburn, promising young player, the half forward. They need someone to charge in there. Now, the Footscray, the Western Bulldogs guys, Crediok being one of them, the only ones that really charged the ball then, Kilpatrick, he kept it in. That was good play. He was out. He kept the ball in. It's all Western Bulldogs. And Crediok takes the safe mark. Those Geelong forwards have to work a lot harder. Cameron. Darcy. They're running the ball as they love to do. Smith coming through the middle. Rowan Smith drives it high towards half forward. Sanderson puts his body in front, takes a good mark.
Yeah, good mark by Brenton Sanderson. Goes out wide to Hall, who marks in between half-back and wing. Kick just over the wing. Oh, they waited for it, the forwards, and Crediok came forward and marked Bitterscombe. Black mark against your son. And that's a poor old kick again. Another turnover, and Bizzle takes the mark on his knees.
Yeah, bypassed Rowan Smith on that occasion, which was only the 30-metre pass. He was by himself, and it may well have been the better option with Rowan Smith being such a good kick into the forward line.
Here's Scholl, Brad Scholl. Well, they brought it over to the defensive side. Not much pressure to get it here, but it's going to be hard to find the goals from here. James Riley, first-year player, very impressive. He kicks towards 50. Darcy again, and that's a free kick. Not quite the mark, but the free kick. And he's killing them around the ground. It's going to be 50 against Spinks. Well, Stephen King's won the first 2 hit-outs of the second term, but Darcy is just going on his merry way.
Well, why, can I ask you, Gerard, why is that 50 metres?
Well, I think it's 50 basically because he's lucky it wasn't a report. You just can't charge into the back of a player. He already had possession of the footy.
Oh, Chris Grant, one hand enough. What a player. Thanks for coming, Christopher.
Peter, has he taken over as your favourite player since Darren Jarman went over to the Crows?
I love Grant. I reckon Grant, he's just his work rate, Gerard, for a centre-half forward. He's absolutely fantastic. When he's not getting the ball, he makes it easier for the players around him.
He's a big
listen, hang on. Robert Harvey is my number one.
Right.
That was just Grant's second mark, and here he is from 35 metres. No, missed it to the right.
Well, it was a gettable goal without any doubt. And, well, Chris Grant, he's getting a few possessions. He's had 4 kicks and 2 handballs. It was a brilliant mark, but it was one that he'll look at on the replay and say that should have gone through.
It's on half forward for the Bulldogs. They had numbers out there. Now, a free kick will go to West. And he'll come back after he got rid of the ball. He was incorrectly disposed of. So Scott West up in front of goal into that danger area. Oh, it's over the back. Montgomery is there. Martin is there. He's caught. Colbert latches onto it. Good play to Sanderson. They're pretty good in defence, but their problems are when they get down forward. They need someone to fire up. Riley has a look around. Race is clear. Now they've got to look at this. Ellis on his own at half-back. And Geelong have to do something about this. There's Crediok went without it. Spinks, but he's got no support. Now he has through Hall. Hall dodging and weaving. Gives it off. Riley kicks under pressure, James Riley, and has missed. Just sneaks it in from behind.
Just a bit of inexperience there by the Geelong side. We had Riley, not that kick, but his first kick into the forward line, just pumped it long under some pressure. He was going at 100 miles an hour, but he kicked it straight to Craig Ellis, who he's just not in good form at the present time. His handball was poor, and it almost resulted in a goal.
Crediok outside the 50. Hand pass of Johnson under pressure. Hocking got a fingernail to it. Crediok again, kick smothered. Hall. Cats are putting on the pressure. Round the corner, Kilpatrick. Ellis again. His kick to centre wing. Biddiscombe, not quite. He likes him higher than that. Top tackle by Montgomery. Ball, say the crowd. Play on, says the umpire. It spills to Curley. Curley's kick to centre half forward, and Lee Colbert gets back to mark. Bulldogs by 7 points. They've got the only goal in the second term. Carl Steinfort goes short to the wing to King. On his own further afield is Milburn. Approaches 50, no pressure. Might have half a chance. Draws Romero. Off to Wood, who's kicked his first goal in his career. Now he's kicked his second. Justin Wood. Margin back to a point.
Yeah, good conversion, wasn't it? And a great bit of play by Milburn, I thought. He really did assess the situation very well. This is drawing a defender in Jose Romero right to the last yard or metre. And that set up Justin Wood. And that's a pretty fair conversion. But once again, the Bulldogs just panicking across that half-back lines, created a number of opportunities. And you heard the Bulldogs crowd roar when they went long.
Point the margin. Western Bulldogs in front. Darcy doing pretty well. To Smith. He belts it into the forward line. Another good mark. Well, it is Montgomery down there. He's noted for his overhead marking, but that was a clever one like Chris Grant's.
Yeah, good get out of the centre. Once again, Darcy doing quite well. He laid off the first handball.
I was sure Montgomery had the thigh guards on in the first quarter.
He did.
He's minus now.
Might have been a little bit
Restricting. Well, he's kicking for his second. He's been a very good player after coming from the VFL competition. Brett Montgomery has taken a couple of terrific high marks in his career with the Bulldogs. Now he's just inside 50. Not a bad looking kick. It's a goal. So the Bulldogs hitting back into the breeze. They lead by 7 points.
No doubt they're playing a little bit better now, the Western Bulldogs, and the game, I reckon, has gone up about 3 cogs in tempo. It really is an entertaining spectacle at the moment. Some of the defensive tackling has been at breakneck speed. So we've got a pretty good game in our hands here, and you'd reckon at the end of the day there's not going to be too much in it.
This could finish up being like last week's game between Essendon and Carlton. Started at 1 mile an hour and finished at 100 miles an hour. Cats somehow scramble it out of the middle, but it's turned over by Curley to Romero to Lane. 70 metres from goal, Tyson Lane. Into centre half forward, Hudson. Made a contest of it, didn't come out with the ball. Colbert for the Cats. Ronnie Burns hasn't had a touch yet. Wood, what a day he's had. Dutch into trouble. Ball, say the crowd. Play on. Johnson's hand pass to West, to Martin. Gets clipped over the ear by Hocking, and Martin takes the free kick. Wide he comes, Montgomery! He tried to do a Winston Abraham and hit his head pretty hard.
He's in trouble.
That kick meant for Grant. Garlick got in the way. It's going to be a free kick to Grant. Well, Brett Montgomery is seeing stars. He went up early. He was clutching thin air and came down on the back of his head. Look at this.
Looked like he was on a trampoline. It was just going to bounce off the back. But unfortunately, there was no spring in the turf here at Optus, and that would have hurt. But through so many times in this last passage of play, we've seen the Western Bulldogs kick it short to a contest. Rather than bombing that ball in, I know you've got to try and maintain possession, but if you're going to a contest, it's got to go long.
Grant missed from 35, and now he's missed from 45. So he's getting it in this term. He's had 7 possessions, and so far he's kicked just 2 behinds.
It's 11 scoring shots to 8 in favour of the Bulldogs. They're playing a lot better in this term. Into the breeze. Sanderson. I still just doubt Geelong's capacity down forward. They really need someone with a bit of class to take over down there. Maybe move Colbert down there, as you suggested earlier, Gerard. Milburn. Ball comes off. This is Steinfort. Now, he might come out to King. He does. And the big fella doesn't let him down. He's at half-back, Stephen King. Kicks to centre wing. Ellis at the back. Takes a very nice mark. Off he goes. He's taken the place, Ellis, of Wine. The short kick comes in the West. On to Curley. They love to run the ball, the Bulldogs. Ramiro bumped fairly, and that was good umpiring, although he might have hurt his shoulder here. Here's Hudson onto the left, brings it up in front of goal. Collinook was grabbed by the jumper.
Umpire was
handballs
there.
Away. It was no free kick. Scholl will mop up. He's a good player, Scholl. He's a very talented player. Oh, did he run too far? The umpire let him get away with it. It's at half forward for Geelong. Taken away by Wirra. They've got the loose man out wide with Michael Martin.
Dogs by 8 points. Martin's kick astray. Mansfield had a chance to mark. Still got a chance, Michael Mansfield. Now he's in trouble. Umpire will ball it up.
Well, that was an interesting non-decision by Brian Sheen down in the goal square. There was no question that the jumper was tugged. It was only a technical decision. But as we've heard from John Russo, they've been instructed to pay those free kicks, and that one has cost the Bulldogs a goal for sure. King wins down to Wood, who's having a good day. Wood's kick centre of the ground. Riccardi burst free. Scott West right out of the play. Spinks dragged down when he didn't have an umpire. No free kick. Comes to Hocking. Hocking 40 metres out across the face of goal and out of bounds on the full.
He's a bit stiff, Spinks.
Yeah, could well have got a free kick, but this one was definitely a free kick. Just have a look at this. You see Scholl there, just grabs a jumper, and maybe it was just so technical, it was probably fair enough he let it go.
They just held it momentarily. Here's Spinks. Oh, that's a good hit out in front of goal. That was cleverly done. Burns or Wirra. Is that deliberate? No.
Oh, it's a shocking, it's just a bad rule, that one.
I wonder if it'll ever come in that the last team that touches the ball, no matter how, gives the free to the opposition.
Gee, there'd be some contentious decisions then, though, on some of those ones near the boundary line. Here's Ellis. Will he go over the boundary line? He gains about 30 metres. It's still in play, in fact. Well done by Cameron. Oh, Hall went in on Martin, and eventually it's forced over the line. So it's way out at half forward for Geelong.
No, you couldn't have that, because then you'd take the umpire with the sunglasses out of the play.
Exactly, yes.
So King and Darcy having a terrific contest. Bizzle lays a good tackle, and the umpire will come in and bounce.
It was interesting, Drew. They trialled it in the Ansett Cup about 3 years ago, and I think everybody that had been a proponent for it became a critic of it, because guys were just so tentative around the boundary line. They weren't going for big high marks. They weren't going for spoils. But I think that deliberate rule, if it even looks like it's deliberate, they should pay it.
Ramiro seems to have recovered. He was feeling his shoulder a while ago. This is Wirra's kick onto the chest of Hall. Derek Hall just forward of centre wing. The Cats off a 6th straight losing streak, taking it up to the competition leaders. Well done, Spinks. West, did he turn up today? No free kick for that. Hand pass to Johnson. Too slow. Run down on the tackle. Smith. Too slow. Run down by Riccardi. Any free kicks up? It's a baller.
Well, looked like Rowan Smith was prepared to take him on then, Pete, and he was included at 3 or 4 metres.
Let's see if he got rid of it. Maybe he got a little hand pass in. We were a bit on the blind side, but he certainly had plenty of time to get rid of it. There's Darcy. A very technical free kick. Darcy's got it. He kicks it wide. Oh, look out. Good mark. Taken by Hudson onto the left. Oh, good kick by Hudson to Tyson Lane, who straightens up, kicks across the face, and a good mark to Chris Grant. He was too big and too good. He wants to play on. He gives a hand pass. Collinook has kicked the goal. Gee, they took the risk again, Jared.
Well, they got away with it, and maybe Chris Grant thought that the percentages were greater by opening up the goal face, but it probably just needed to be a longer handball than it did, because in the end, Collingwood had to kick around the corner, and it was not a high percentage. Now he goes back on a fair angle, not a really tight angle, although he hasn't been shooting all that well at goal in this match, particularly in this quarter. Chris Grant, perhaps the confidence has just was down a little bit.
King's gone off for the Cats, replaced by Mensch, who's gone straight onto the ball. And Mensch is beaten by Darcy, not once but twice. Romero might have been taken high. Out of the middle, Riccardi for the Cats. It bounces inside 50. Prediuk takes a weak. Montgomery. It was good vision. Croft up from the last line. Good hands, Rowan Smith. Oh, poor kick, though. Straight onto the chest of Steinfort. Comes to Snell, Hocking. Now Mensch, fresh off the bench. He's trying to draw a man. The hand pass. Oh, shocker. Look for Barry Hall and hit Cameron. Now to Montgomery, and they're keen to switch it. Martin's been good. Kick by Martin, up short of centre wing. Lane is there with Kilpatrick. Whoa! Collinew hit them very hard, and the ball's out of bounds centre wing.
And Gerard Healy and Drew Moore, but don't tell me ever that full forwards aren't important. This coming down the ground 70 metres from goal, as we see that crunch. Gary Ayres, Geelong's forward line, they have got no idea of forward play at the moment. Well, we see Mensch.
To be fair to David Mensch, why he was caught was because he looked up and there was nobody in the forward line.
But that's what I'm saying about forward play. There is no one there leading, no one creating space. It's very ordinary to watch when it's like that. Here's Riccardi. That's better. That is 100% better to see a full forward come up the middle of the ground and mark. Looks like a forward line.
I think the only problem with your argument, Pete, is that North Melbourne have been playing without a full forward for about the last 8 weeks, and they're doing it pretty well.
Hang on. Wayne Carey plays as a full forward, comes centre forward. He plays in that 30-metre area near goal.
He's no good. He might be able to take the kick here.
Oh, well, he'll take it, Hall. No, I don't think he can take it.
Or is it a blind? He was going to have to kick from 50.
No, I think
now he's jogging around. I reckon the umpire might say, give it back to Speaks.
Well, Speaks is a beautiful kick.
Well, this is pretty dumb by Speaks. If he wants Derek Hall to take the kick, he wouldn't be running around. And well, there'd be no reason for him to want Derek Hall to take it, because he is a very good shot at goal and a huge kick.
I'd say Speaks is a better kick than Hall.
Yeah, he was no doubt he was injured when he fell, but sometimes you get those problems that they hurt a hell of a lot, but after about 40 or 50 seconds, Pete, they just start to wane a little bit.
Well, Geelong have had troubles all year kicking goals, because they really, early in the year, Spinks was kicking a few, but they really, when they get that 70, 80 metres from goal, they look up and they're undecided what to do, because they really haven't got the scoring options. Now, Spinks...
We did see him grimace there when he hit the ground, may have been a corky.
Well, you couldn't have a better man normally having a shot, because he is a long and accurate kick. It all depends if he's injured himself. Brett Spinks, the Cats need this one. He'll kick right on 50. Wow, beautiful kick. It's a goal.
So reports of his death were grossly exaggerated.
Yes, it was a pretty good resuscitation, wasn't it? He was in intensive care there for about 10 seconds. He's come back, as all great full forwards do, Pete. They're a tough breed of men.
They've got more brains than the normal players too, of course, Jared.
And this is a good pass by Peter Riccardi, straight down the throat. You just see there that he gets caught up and somehow gets a bit of an injury. But good game of footy here, and if the Cats can get another goal or so, it's going to be pretty tight at half-time.
Bulldogs have kicked 3 goals to 2 in this second term. Hocking with lightning hands out to Riccardi. His left boot, it floats a top. Magnificent kick. Spinks caught behind. Montgomery takes the mark in defence. Romero's had plenty of it, and a lot of it out in open spaces. What about Martin? Must have BO, Michael Martin, up towards half forward. Grant's had a good second term. Taken to the line by Homer Simpson and over.
Well, again, I reiterate about that forward line. I mean, for the ball to be belted out of the centre and not be a contest for the mark is just incredible. I mean, it's hard enough to get goals without not contesting the ball when it comes to the forward line. Gary Ayres will be tearing his hair out. Now, here's a free kick for holding the man, I think.
I think that Luke Darcy was grabbed pretty high in that ruck contest.
And I think it's Darcy's kick. It is, outside 50. Luke Darcy playing pretty well. 5 kicks, 6 handballs. So Luke Darcy, as he drives it high up in front of goal. Chris Grant's got a couple to beat. Too good. He just waited down. They were all worried about Grant, and he said, "Thank you very much."
Well, it was a classic case of Simpson, just as you said, Pete, being so concerned about his man that he didn't take any great recognition of the football or any great awareness.
But he didn't get any support either. There should have been someone else coming in over the top of Grant. So Chris Grant kicking for his first of the game. He's missed a couple. He's kicked it. So the Bulldogs have got the answers at the moment. 6-7 to 4-5.
They've taken the ball through the middle of the ground so much better in this quarter than last. They really do look like the side that we have come to expect. And we'll just write that one down to experience for Hamish. He'll learn from that mistake for sure.
The Bulldogs led by just a point at quarter time, but in this term they've kicked 4-2 to 2-1. Manch clean possession. Riccardi jolted out of his arms. Hocking. Curley has it for the Dogs. Martin another touch. That's his 9th kick up towards half forward. Lane missed it. McKinnon along the line. They can get away with that. And it'll be a boundary throw-in. Gary Ayres trying to break a 6-game losing streak.
Yeah, just looking at the stats for you there, Drew, on McMartin. He's had 8 possessions in this term alone.
Well, the Bulldogs are going forward again. This is Brad Johnson, the chip pass. He has found Steve Collinook 30 metres from goal directly in front. Good use of the ball by the Bulldogs there. So top of the ladder on percentage and a chance to go a game clear, the Western Bulldogs. Collinook's been a good goal sneak in recent weeks. He's kicked 1 today. Directly in front. And he has goal for his second. So Steve Collinook in pretty good form.
And he's had a pretty good game, Steve Collinook. He would be one of the better players on the ground without exception. And Brad Johnson there just showing his good awareness. He could have gone long with the bomb, but he saw that his little teammate was running free, and it was a short kick to a non-contest which set up the goal. I think Luke Darcy once again having a fair impact in that goal, that throw-in.
Manch doing okay since he came off the bench. Gets it down to Milburn. Ronnie Burns looking to get a touch of the leather. Runs straight past it. Bizzle puts it out in front of goal. This looks handy. And the mark taken here by Snell.
Great kick, wasn't it?
Yeah, it held up nicely for him.
So Jason Snell right in front. He'll be kicking from about 45 metres out. Has to aim at the right-hand goalpost. Cats trail by 20 points. 4 minutes remaining in the first half. Vital kick. Plenty of height. It comes back on the breeze. Home for all money. Bizzle's been a good kid, and through this slump, he's been one of the shining lights.
Yeah, he's a very good player. There's no doubt about that. He seems to have got a lot better in the last month, as you say. Ronnie Burns coming from the field, and he's been replaced by Craig Bitterscombe. Just having a look at Luke Darcy. He hasn't been jumping at these centre bounces in the last couple.
So umpire Brian Sheehan puts it down again. Minch did pretty well. There's Gary Hocking trying to bulldoze his way through the centre. Getting back to Bizzle, that last kick of his was a perfect kick to a forward, low trajectory and fast, and the Critic had no chance of stopping the mark by Snell.
Cats now in front in the centre hitter, 7-5. Mench has done well since he's been there.
So let's watch this one, Drew. Mench, well, he actually got his hands to it. That's Justin Wood down there. Now Hall just a bit slow to get rid of it. He's almost got out of it. Brad Scholl.
Geez, that's good tackling, isn't it?
Fantastic gang tackling, and Scholl was a slippery customer. By Brian Sheehan to bounce it on centre wing. A wry grin on the face of Scholl.
They call him Nails, tough as.
Well, he's terrific to watch, Brad Scholl. His ability to weave and duck out of problem situations is terrific. Quick kick comes down towards half forward. Grant went flying through the air. Riccardi, a little toe poke. Oh, there's strong work by Powell. Now Grant, he loses the ball in the tackle, but it's a free kick in the meantime. I think it's the Bulldogs. It might be Montgomery, is it? Or no, it's Powell. Further afield. It's taken by Grant. Oh, free kick against Geelong, surely. Oh, goodness me. How can you put the hands on the shoulder, push the guy out of the contest, and then be able to, what's this?
What Hudson's saying.
Look at this. Oh, round the neck, surely.
Yes, I think Paul Hudson had a case. Snap by Curley for a goal.
Well, it was a great snap, there's no doubt about that. It came from nowhere, and it looked as if there was just a couple of players who really kept their eye on the ball after this little fracas. That took a little bit of the attention away of a couple of players, and there you have it, Todd Curley. A very good call through. It looked like half a dozen players.
Well, Powell coming off the ground for the Bulldogs. 8-7 to 5-5 as Mitch belts it forward. Spinks and Bizzle. Now Snell. He's looking for some support down here. Riccardi's got it. Threw it away almost. Kilpatrick. In front of goal is Croft. He's lost it. Here's Wood. The kick and goal. Great goal. Three goals to Justin Wood. Terrific effort by the youngster.
Yeah, great start by Justin Wood. He's obviously a good goal sneak, but the Cats would have to be pleased with David Mench's performance in the centre bounces in this term. He really has got the ball out on a number of occasions personally, and figured in a couple of good gets by the Cats just by virtue of a good tap or a competitive knock.
Justin Wood with three goals in his fourth game, the first 3 goals of his career. The youngster from Glenorchy in Tasmania. Another one for the Cats here would make it pretty interesting. 2 minutes left to half-time, but the Bullies have it. Darcy down the middle. Riccardi too quick. Holding the ball, Luke Darcy. Riccardi made up lengths on him. Now Peter Riccardi. The Cats have renewed life. Snell. Mensch. Good hand pass. Sanderson. Kick it to Seltzer. You're 40 metres out. Sanderson does. This could be a turn up in the books.
Good game of footy, both sides pretty pumped up, and Geelong is starting to grow in confidence. There's a great chase and tackle by Peter Riccardi. The awareness just wasn't there, and the instructional talk obviously not there to Luke Darcy, who was floundering in the finish. And, well, after hearing Drew Morford's call, he went back and went bang and kicked a nice goal.
Come to me, son.
David Minch is liven up this centre bounce area. Well, he's beaten by Darcy, but Hocking came through. Hall, here they come again. Steinford, can they get another one? Towards half forward, Speaks has got it. He's got to hook it back. Bizzle or mark. He plays on this young fella. On the left. Oh, don't tell me he's kicked another one. Geelong are right back in this. Yes.
Well, as you said, Pete, it was a good tap by Luke Darcy, but it was sharp by the midfield of Geelong, and they are on the roll at this stage. They've kicked 3 goals in 2 minutes, really to shake the confidence of the Bulldogs. And now we see it getting bombed into their forward line by Carl Steinford. And And it was a darn good effort by Brett Spinks just to keep that ball in play. And a great snap also.
Mensch wins with a backhander in the middle again. It's 2 points the margin, a minute to half-time, and the Bulldogs under threat here from the Cats, who couldn't beat anybody for 6 weeks. Brad Scholl, will they lead at half-time? Spinks! He threw the ball into himself. Croft has it though. Over the head of Collingham. Here comes Riccardi. Collingham dispossesses him beautifully, but the hand pass not good. Back to Collingham. Oh, Dimmer. Collingham for third time.
Jeez, he's red hot.
Curley into the cricket pitch area. West hardly been sighted. 7 possessions only. Is that a push by Riley? It is. Free kick. Well, he got away with the one earlier with Hudson.
No doubt in the world about that one. He only had to jump and spoil too, Gerard, didn't he?
Yes, it wasn't great work there.
Rowan Smith for a steadier. He's missed to the left, I think. So the Bulldogs lead by just 3 points with just seconds remaining to half-time. What a turnaround by the Cats.
It came from nowhere, didn't it? The Bulldogs looked like they were in control, and then I think it's been just their dominance in the centre bounce takeaways in the last 4 or 5 attempts that really has given them the opportunity up forward, and they've got it in there quickly.
Well, Mensch has done it about the second half of this second quarter. Cameron Marks, I think time will beat them if they want another goal. Good hands by Martin. What a term he's played. And there's the siren for half-time. Hudson playfully kicks a goal, but it's after the siren. And at half-time, the Bulldogs by 3 points. And they're under threat from the Cats, who were inspired by this youngster from Glenorchy, young Justin Wood, who's kicked 3 goals to half-time. Gary Hockings had a lot of the ball in midfield and has absolutely fed off the ruck dominance of David Mensch. And it's been great to watch. Bounce to start the second half, and Darcy wins, reversing a trend which had been set up by Mensch late in the first half. Collingham, the hand pass out to Montgomery. It sits beautifully for Hudson. On the run, 48 metres, but way offline to the right, out of bounds on the full.
Well, an important quarter coming up for the Bulldogs. They've got to get away to a couple of goal lead, you'd think. Set themselves up to be able to just hold off the inevitable challenge that'll come from the Cats in the last.
James Raleigh to the half-back line. Here's Ramiro. He's got support from Scott West. West gives it across to Powell. Then back to West. Up towards Grant, who's underneath that ball. So Raleigh again is going to mop up. He kicks to centre wing. And a nice lead there by Carl Steinfort. He's got a couple of running players. One of them is Scholl. And Scholl, that's a good mark. He's been a good player again.
Great courage, wasn't it, to go back with a fly to the ball. He knew the players were coming from behind. And he's still stretched up tall, which exposed his ribs.
Well, he really is an outstanding player. In towards the half-forward line, taken by Spinks. A free kick to his teammate, I think, in Bitterscombe. No, it's going the Bulldogs' way to Croft. Now, Croft gives it off to Rowan Smith. And they're transferring players. They love to do, the Bulldogs. He's not sure who to kick it to. Then he eventually kicks it to a space. Oh, he's got to mark it. He didn't. Milburn, Sanderson on the Bizzle, a very promising young player who kicks out on the full, I would think. It is, and there'll be a penalty there to be taken by Matthew Croft.
Croft out wide in the back pocket.
Sorry, Drew, the Cats going into this term with 2 spare players in defence, as they did in the first term pretty successfully.
Leon Cameron's kick off the hands and out of bounds at centre wing for a boundary throw. Crowd here, predominantly the Western Bulldogs. They were making a hell of a lot of noise early in the second quarter, but was silenced by the Cats late in the second quarter. Riccardi goes to the line, and another throw-in.
You could already see signs that Geelong are going to work pretty hard into the breeze here, Gerard.
It's going to be a line ball result, Pete, I think, at the end of the day, without any doubt.
Wirra, Dimatina and Lane. 3 of the 4 on the bench. Oh, Oh, hand pass out, chopped off by the opposition, Montgomery. Now a chance for the Cats. Kilpatrick. Snell got high to punch on. Oh, Croft was poleaxed. It comes to Snell, who's offline with his kick and brings up a behind.
Certainly some good tackling there and gang tackling by the Cats. They're pretty fired up. Only trailed by 2 behinds. They're kicking into the breeze. This is Matthew Dent. He loves to pretend to kick right and then hook it left. It looks like he's doing it again. He's looking for Darcy, but Geelong players are everywhere. Holding the decision on Darcy, though, in that pack situation. So Luke Darcy at half back. Kicks it in short. Finds Powell. On the West, who's caught. Oh, wild hand pass. Allows Geelong in with a chance here. Quick hand pass comes to Bitterscombe. And they mucked it up, Geelong. Ellis in towards half forward. He's looking for Grant. Grant traps it with the left hand. Was grabbed high. Finally gets in a hand pass to Collinook. He in turn taps it away. Milburn did well. He did very well, young Milburn. It's given out. Hocking got it to Simpson. Then eventually he's way up here in front of Steinford. Steinford on the boundary line. Gains about 10 metres. He's got some support by Bizzle. He's taken away. Smothered off the boot. And over the line. Way out at half foot for the Cats, but they really are working overtime.
Well, we might just find out today how good the Bulldogs are without Scott Wind, who was a last-minute withdrawal. Manch beats Darcy. Little kick, no distance. Smith busts the tackle. And then kicks as long as he can. Bit off the side of the boot, but it's over centre wing. Shoulders there. Great use of the hips. That's Robert Harvey stuff. Kilpatrick puts it wide. And up towards half forward. Here come the Cats. The pass in short. Here he is again, Wood. Well, he's kicked 3. Justin Wood will be kicking from only 30 metres out. The breeze right across him from there. But he knows how to find them. He kicked 1 in the first, 2 in the second. He'll just need to aim at the left goal post. Fourth game in the AFL.
He's got the Dennis Lilly runner. He's gone back 35 metres.
He can put the Cats in front if he goals from this. Oh, it's close. I think he has. Geelong in front.
Well, they can bite to on the proverbial sometimes. The young players, they come from nowhere. And as they make their way in footy, they have the proverbial day out. This is Justin Woods. He really is just getting his hand on the ball, and every time he gets it, he's within scoring shot of goal, and he does that pretty well. He's had 8 kicks and he's kicked 4 goals.
Well, a dream game, Gerard, for such a young player.
The danger signs, Pete, they're there for a big upset.
Cats in front. Mitch doing a great job in the middle. Well, Darcy got his hands to it, but Geelong have been getting it out of that middle area. Oh, gang tackled there was Riccardi and dumped on that hard centre pitch area. There's Peter Riccardi. He's long kicking. It's great value to the Cats. Umpires Grant Vernon, Brian Sheehan and Scott McLaren. This is Scott McLaren to bounce. Minch bundled out of it by Darcy, who kicks in mid-air. Collinook's got it. He kicks it quickly. Poor bounce as comes to Hudson. Colbert copped the poor bounce. Still a chance at half forward as it's handballed on by Tyson Lane. Grabbed there and kicked forward by Ramiro, and then eventually knocked through for Geelong by Kilpatrick. But, well, it's a tough game for the Bulldogs.
Yeah, pretty good pressure down there by the Cats, and it's a similar start to the third term as we had in the first quarter, with a real struggle, and then they broke it open for 3 or 4 goals, and that's what they're going to have to do here.
Now Simpson. Hamish Simpson towards the outer side. Mensch lost sight of it, bounced off his heel, and Grant almost gained possession, but took it out. Geelong by 3 points. Well, this would be a turn-up. Bulldogs have lost their last 5 finals to Geelong, so it's just been a team that's worried them over the years. Remember that 94 qualifying final and Billy Brownless gold after the siren? But here come the Dogs. Here's Scholl, who left North Melbourne after just a game, came to the Cats and revitalised his career. In a bit of space is Curley, but he needed it with the fumble. Pretty hook short. It holds up or just reached Collingham.
We had to feel sorry for Brad Scholl because he burst around the back of the pack, got the ball, and he came out to this commentary position side. And there was absolutely no one to go to. He really had to find the boundary line. And in the finish, he didn't do that. Well, Steve Collingham can go back and put the Bulldogs back in front.
Just a bit of a hold-up while he does up his bootlaces.
It's amazing how that ball stopped. He looked as if he was going to hit him on the chest, and in the end he took it around the ankles.
He's kicked 2. He's hooked that one, and they still trail. Margin 2 points.
So a huge quarter of football, this one. If Geelong can hang on and be with the Bulldogs at 3/4 time, they'll be hard to beat coming home with the breeze. This is Brenton Sanderson. He's been kicking in long a lot today, and that's a beautiful kick. He's looking for Colbert. It's thumped forward, though, by the Bulldogs. Kick forward by Kilpatrick. Riccardi receives from Steinford. No mark. It's at half forward with Dent for the Bulldogs. On to Croft. Croft brings it around centre wing area. The racehorse Johnson's after it. Brad Johnson drives into the pocket looking for Grant. And Chris Grant, no mark, and now it's a mark. He called play on, then changed his mind, the umpire. But I think that's a fair enough decision. It was a mark.
Well, it looked like the ball was going to pop out, which it did, but he was just good enough and maybe lucky enough for the ball to fall in his lap. He just flicked it in at the last moment.
And at the other end, there marks that Bizzle usually likes. The ones over his head. Should have grabbed it.
Just it's a quick turnaround, wasn't it? One drop mark, and the Bulldogs, they just keep running to that outer side.
Chris Grant's kicked 1 and a chance to put his side in front by 4 points if he kicks this. And I think he's missed to the right. He has. So the little things going against the Bulldogs and missing goals, and Geelong working particularly hard. Just as you said, Gerard, there are danger signs.
Well, right at this stage, you'd expect them still as the premiership favourite to come over the top of a pretty inexperienced Geelong side, but we've seen too many games like this, Pete, where you give the underdog a sniff, and at the end of the day, they find something that goes their way.
Great hand pass by Riccardi to find some space. Out to Bitterscombe to Hall. Hall keeps it in, but only for West. Good pick-up, Scotty West, but he's had a down day. Well done, Hall. Bitterscombe again. It's a hot footy in there. Punched on by Mensch. Back into the pack. Umpire, give us a break. Ball it up. Well, Geelong having their best dip for many a long day. Remember last week against the Swans, they were 78 points behind at half-time.
And then they had a lot of play. I think they kicked 6 goals, 9 or such in the third term against the Swans. So they obviously had plenty of the ball. There's Mensch getting in a hand pass. I'm just pretty impressed, Gerard, with... I mean, we know the Bulldogs are a fast-running side and always have a dip, but Geelong are really gang tackling here.
Yeah, their pressure's been has been quite wonderful. There's no doubt about that, Peter. And I just saw them bonding at half-time just before the bounce, as if they were just setting themselves for a massive effort once again in this quarter.
Well, Darcy leapt very early. West. Now Mensch. Oh, look at Hocking. He charged in hard. Still Hocking. Oh, too high. Free kick against Hocking. Will go to Dimartina on centre wing.
You sometimes wonder whether Buddha Hocking reckons it's worth giving away a free kick to hurt someone.
Clip behind the ear.
Paul Dimartina. Bitterscombe put his hand in and just allowed some held up play a little bit. Collingham gets it to Curley. Curley up in the air. Scholl. Now let's see him weave out of this one. Oh, he's done it again. Robert Harvey stuff. He's no doubt about him. He's good to watch. Kilpatrick drives to half forward. 2-on-1. 2 Bulldogs, 1 Cat. Here's young Justin Wood in there after it. Going in hard was Hall, and the umpire will bounce.
You've got a new love child, haven't you? As long as he reminds you of Robert Harvey, you reckon Brad Scholl's all right.
Oh, he's a beauty. It's just that ability, it's a God-given ability to weave out of trouble.
Stephen King on the bench at the moment. His daddy's and with Mickey Mansfield. King's been off the ground, and he won't get back the way David Mencher's playing.
Peter Riccardi busting them up. He goes long to full forward. Spinks a show. It comes to the front. Rovers needed. Snell was there but couldn't handle. Smith for the Bulldogs. Goes wide to his mate Johnson. How often that Smith and Johnson. The pass to centre wing. Montgomery. Very wide. He's kept it in. Oh, he's turned his man inside out. Montgomery. Magnificent football. If this is a goal, put this one down for the goal of the year. Oh, he was under pressure, but not bad. Hudson.
Well, it's a spectacular passage of play. As good a boundary line work as you'd like to see. Probably went too long and maybe should have laid off to the quicker Johnson, but Johnson acknowledged that he was going for the goal of the year. So he went in for the shepherd, and he was lucky to find Hudson with a spray kick.
The Dogs down by a point. This to give them the lead. Breeze at his back. Good kick.
He's a genius. We'll mark that goal down to Rowan Smith across the half-back line, because his roving of the spoil was just quite superb. And this is, have a look at this for play. This is Keith Gregg and Robbie Flower rolled into one. Outstanding, Brett Montgomery. But I'll tell you what, it was Rowan Smith at the other end of the ground that mopped up a pretty important ball. Looked like it was going to be roved and goaled by the Cats.
And also, Riccardi broke away on his own up the other end, and they just bombed it up in the air, no one leading, and they turned it over. 9-11 plays 9-6, 5 points the margin. This centre bounce area very, very important. Riccardi tried to come out. Milburn did one well to Colbert. Now Raleigh. Now they go, oh, beautiful smother. Oh, kicked in mid-air. That was by Colbert, taken by DiMartino, and it ended up a torpedo punt, and it comes off to Hudson. Hudson gives it off. This is Powell on the left foot. Grant a chance. Flies. Oh, good mark. A lovely mark taken for Geelong by Hamish Simpson.
Yeah, great mark under pressure. But no doubt the Bulldogs have got to do something about their centre bounce clearances. They were flogged in the first half, and they're getting beaten again in this third term.
Here's Marty McKinnon threading it through to Raleigh. He breaks through the wing, keeps it low to half forward. Not a great kick. Spinks went in with the crunch, and the ball's out of bounds on the 50. And you get hit by Spinks, and you might think you've been hit by Leon Spinks.
He's got a decent body on him, a big solid bloke. Well, it's at 50 metres from the Cats' goal. Mench and Darcy. Darcy with a height advantage. Mench taps it down. It's still at half forward for the Cats. Umpire's going to play a free kick. I think it's going Geelong's way. Prediop doesn't like it.
Well, be careful, he'll get the 50.
It's going to Colbert. Distance, it might be a doubt, although that's the side of the ground to kick from.
There's a good player, Lee Colbert. We're there in the clinches.
Very tough. Lee Colbert, he's doubtful of the distance, so he's looking for the short one. Now he just sets it up in front of goal. They're going to... Spinks! That's better. He's led up the middle and has marked 30 metres from goal.
Well, it was a great kick and a good mark. Surprising that the Bulldogs weren't aware that that play was on. It was only Jose Romero who was had no chance whatsoever of backing back into the big Spinks.
Well, you couldn't have a better man kicking for goal. His kicking this year has been absolutely, well, it's been Lockett-like. Certainly doesn't get it as much as Tony Lockett, but he places the ball on the boot, Gerard. He doesn't drop it from a height, and that's why he can get control of the ball normally, and they need this one. Kicking into the breeze, it'd be a very handy goal. It's close. Might have just missed, I think. Yes. So he'd be disappointed with that from directly in front.
And a couple of changes. Ronnie Burns has come onto the ground. Simon Cox off for the Bulldogs. He's been replaced by Tyson Lane, and Brad Wirra's up and ready to go for the Bulldogs, and he may go on to Burns.
4 points the margin, just a goal each in this third quarter. Cats have turned it over. The hand pass comes inside 50, and a long shot for goal to the goal square. Hall couldn't quite, or Johnson saw Snell coming and ran it over the line for a rush behind. 3 points the margin, same as it was at half-time. They've kicked 1 goal, 3 each in this third term.
Dangerous little kick in. It's found Garlick. Garlick at half-back, but the Bulldogs not making a big indentation on that scoreboard. He kicks it out to Cameron, who loves to play on. He brings it into the half-forward area. Ramiro, oh, he saw his teammate coming. Colbert did well. Scholl did well also. Ramiro, a quick kick. Grant trying to latch onto it. Colinook also, he had the pace. Good play by Colinook. Very good play by Colinook, and I think it's Powell is marked here. It is Powell, about 35 to 40 metres from goal.
Yeah, well, it was an interesting one, wasn't it, with Jose and Chris Grant going for the same ball. And, well, the way that Jose bobbed up after going to the ground suggested that he thought he could have done a little bit better. And he did. He really did recover from a ball that looked as if it was going to be lost. And now the Bulldogs have got another shot on the goal.
Well, they've missed a couple of vital ones in this term. They need this. Just create a bit of a gap. Stephen Powell. Slide angle. He's a left footer. He kicks a goal. It's a beautiful kick. It's a goal. No, he's missed. Oh, he's run back to the centre, clapping. Well, what do you think? The body language said a goal.
Didn't work for Libber in the preliminary final. Wasn't going to work for him.
Well, this kicking for goal, this might be very, very costly, as a mark has been taken way out there by Mitch, and he gives it to Hamish Simpson.
Oh, smothered off the boot, tapped out by Kilpatrick. It goes to Powell. Oh, luckily in the arms of Lane. 55 metres out. He pokes it for Hudson. Unmarked. Paul Hudson in front. Bang. He's kicked 3 and started on the bench. And how often does he kick 3 or more in a game?
Well, he's one of the best shots at goal that the game's ever produced, really. And it must be a genetic thing, because his father was quite an outstanding goal kicker. Obviously, that's one of the understatements of the year. But that shot at goal that he had only 5 or 6 minutes ago from the angle was just a brilliant shot at goal. It was the stuff of a goal-kicking genius, as you were, Peter.
Thank you, Jared. 10 points the margin. A vital 5 minutes coming up here. 5 minutes to three-quarter time. Gary Hocking takes it out of the middle. The race is on. Rowan Smith is very quick. Steinford's after him. Well done by Smith. Picks it up, kicks round the boundary line. Finds Jose Ramiro. Bit of urgency in the Bulldogs' play here. Good play by Hamish Simpson, a promising young player. Is that out in the full? It is.
They've got a player, the Cats, in Hamish Simpson. He does look the goods.
So Grant. Yeah, Hamish Simpson comes from Queensland. Now Grant kicks it in low. Didn't quite make Michael Martin, and it's forced over the line. 10 minutes. If the Cats could pinch one up into the breeze, they'd be right in this game.
Well, even at 10 points,
they're in it anyway. That's
right.
exactly right. They'd come home with the breeze as Gary Ayres looks on.
Darcy from behind Mensch. Doesn't really go anywhere. Plucked out of there by Kilpatrick. Wide of the boundary line. Now, Jared, a measure of how West has gone today, off the ground. Didn't see him get injured. I reckon he's been dragged.
Well, he had 13 possessions, and there he is. Scotty West just sitting it out. Maybe he carried an injury into the game. But you're right, he has struggled.
If that is just a drag for Scott West, that'd be the first time, surely, for him in 2 or 3 seasons. Yeah. He's been fantastic. Burns gets one of his few touches. Then he comes to Steinford. Now Colbert. Another goal for the Cats would be handy. Centre half forward. It gets to the back. Bizzle fires out the hand pass. Speaks. Hand pass blocked. It's still there for the Cats. What a contest.
Good footy.
Croft. Oh, put the whistle away up. Let them fight it out. This is sensational. Eventually, it's got to be a ball up. What a passage.
Well done to Matthew Croft, his second effort to come back on the rampaging Brett Spinks, because, well, it was like Tarzan against an elephant. It was just magnificent stuff. He got barreled, but he upset Brett Spinks' balance a little bit, and then the ball went to ground and she was on again.
And I couldn't find Jane in there either.
I was looking for it.
That was like Donnelly all over again, the runaway elephant. Leon Cameron with class off the left. Oh, what a mark, I'm telling you.
Centre wing Colin, a very good mark on a good player in Scholl. He's gone short to Darcy. Darcy's off, puts it up in front of goal. They'll fly from behind. The only one who went for it was, oh, Sanderson. Did he take a gamble then? Here's Derek Hall on his own. He's electing to just lob it up high towards half forward. That was almost a free kick. And it's locked in there at half forward.
Roberts on the ground.
Yeah, Cameron Roberts was some guy who went for that mark up in front. Promising young player.
King's back on.
So it's centre wing. Scoreboard shows 10 points in favour of the Bulldogs. We've got 2.5 minutes left in the third term. Geelong to come home with the breeze. King beaten for it by Darcy. Quick kick up in the air. That was by Powell. Here's Curley to Johnson. Johnson drives, or just a little nudge out. Now that's what Scholl can do. He'll go for the line. You can bet on that. That's good play by Brett Scholl. Very clever play in that situation.
I'm not sure whether it's the case or not, but it does look as if a number of players had a very strong cup of coffee before they went out today, because there's been this propensity just to play on at all costs to the point where they put themselves under pressure.
Chris Grant round the corner. Oh, what a goal that would have been. A poster. But he has kicked 1-4 today, Chris Grant.
Could be a significant statistic at the end of the day, but that would have been a big one.
Oh, that was coming back with the breeze all the time and nearly swung in. Sanderson in short, Raleigh marks. 2 minutes to go to three-quarter time, and with a margin of 11 points, the Cats certainly within striking distance to come home.
Shoot, is that dangerous?
Milburn will have had, what, 2 possessions and are about 7 metres out of the goal square. Come on, son. The umpire will be telling it, hurry up soon. Milburn straight up the ground. Scholl.
Look out.
McKinnon, you're in trouble. Leon Cameron hit the ground running. What's this? It's high. It's coming back, but not enough. Oh, bad luck. A behind. 2 straight kicks the margin.
Well, Geelong was certainly going to muck that up, weren't they, with that short passing?
Nearly the mark of the day, and if he'd goaled, nearly the goal of the day.
Yeah,
right?
he could have kept going for about another 10 or 15 metres without much pressure. But I reckon they need another goal, Pete.
Yes, I think they do. It's 11 points to margin in favour of the Bulldogs. Colbert up in front. Taken away by Milburn. Oh, that's a good hand pass. Out in front of Steinford. Steinford, oh, they've got the loose man up here at half-forward. This is Cameron Roberts. Roberts, he can go short to the pocket. And it's a mark. Taken by King. What an important kick, Gerard, in the context of this game, this kick is.
Well, if they do kick this goal, they go into the three-quarter time break with plenty of momentum. Just 45 seconds left on the clock. And Rowan Smith just miscalculated by a millimetre. It's an important kick, as you say, Pete. And he's a pretty talented young player.
Well, if he kicks the goal, they'll only be 5 points down. Stephen King drives at goal. He doesn't look very happy. He might have missed. He has missed. So both sides missing, and vital kicks. Keen Cat supporters here.
It was 12 points the margin, now 11. 20 seconds left. Dent prepares to kick in. The hook towards the boundary line, looking for Darcy. King caught behind. Darcy can't mark. Here's Stephen King, and he takes it out. And just about on the boundary throw-in, that'll be nearly the last action for the quarter. Bulldogs lead by 11 points. Well, they came in hot favourites. There are no certainties to win this. Hocking a little one off the ground. Ronnie Burns has been a passenger today. The ball back out of bounds. He's had one handball.
But he is the sort of player that only needs 3 or 4 kicks in the final term, and he may go home a hero.
Well, there's the siren for three-quarter time, and the Cats within 2 straight kicks of what would be an upset victory here at Optus Oval. Well, they can't win at their home ground. They might have to win away. At three-quarter time, it's 10-14 to 9-9, and the Cats come home with a breeze that's mostly across, but favouring them in the last term. Oh, what a finish this should be, and the ground is rocking, mainly the chance of Bulldogs. King comes in favoured by the bounce. He gets it to Hocking, and the Cats burst into attack. It's at half forward. They can't come out with a clean possession. Cameron at the bottom of the pack, and game 150 for Leon Cameron. He was drafted in the same year as Chris Grant. Cameron was taken early, and Grant was almost an afterthought. Look at Chris Grant now and his position in the game. 55 metres out. Cats in attack. King wins again. West, who finished that was Crediuk, but West is back on the ground for the Bulldogs, and he finished the third quarter on the bench. Steinfort back to Hall. Hall's kick to the 50. Ball thumped out of defence by Smith. Comes to Steinfort on all fours, and the hand pass blocked. Out of bounds. Throw in inside half forward for the Cats.
So the first couple of minutes here, very important. If Geelong kicking with the breeze can kick 1 or 2 quick ones, will put enormous pressure on the Bulldogs. Hall doing the ruckward. Hocking put his body in front to Shepherd. It was good play by Hocking. Here's Colbert. 10-metre hand pass. Oh, Bizzle trying to keep it in play. A little bit slippery in that part of the ground. Just inside the boundary line. Simon Cox there is back on the ground. Took a mark 10 metres out from goal and handballed earlier. And Colin Nook missed. That's very early in the game, and he got dragged for a long period. Martin McKinnon, well, Colbert actually he got the hit out in the end. Smith just a slight fumble. It's knocked on beautifully. But Cameron, the Bulldogs come through the middle of the ground. Leon Cameron, low trajectory kick. No mark. Play on, says the umpire. Hudson onto the left. Kicks a goal and has just missed. Oh, that would have been a handy one. So Paul Hudson has kicked 3, though. I think he's a greatly improved player at the Bulldogs. He's become a real team player. Sanderson kicks out and looks for McKinnon and finds him.
Marty McKinnon, who last week started the game on Tony Lockett, had 5 goals kicked on him in a hurry and before he was shifted. It was never his position. Kicked by Simpson to centre wing. Oh, great mark. Here's Wood again. This kid almost finishing the votes. Kicked by Wood to half forward. Well, that drops a little bit short. Sorry, Gerard, I'm not trying to put words in your mouth. Dent. Into West. Fancy him finishing the 3rd term on the bench. Last year's best and fairest, Scott West. Grant. Good spoil by Simpson. Oh, great by Romero. Oh, that was magnificent, because guess who was going through? Buddha.
Fully armed. It's really important for the Bulldogs to get that first goal or 2. If they can do that, then maybe they can sap the confidence and the drive of Geelong. But if they allow Geelong to be within a sniffing distance with 5 or 6 minutes of play, they'll have a ferocious opponent on their hands.
Well, Romero, push out, I think the umpire's paid. He has against Grant, goes to Hamish Simpson. I'll tell you what, he's going to be a very good player. On to Milburn. Milburn's kicking it to half forward. Players slipping down there. Cameron Roberts did well. Steinfort, now Hall, dodging and weaving, kicks to a space. The ball back in front of goal. Burns hasn't done anything all day. Socket off the ground and through for a behind. Gee, if they could get Burns up and firing, Gerard, it'd make an enormous difference.
Well, they need another goal kicker, don't they? And there's that push out. A bit tough to decide whether the umpire was right or not, unless you got a side-on view, and that's the view he had. And he had no hesitation in giving it against him.
Given the non-decision early in the game, for Raleigh. That was a toe. A kick in by Dent's gone straight to Burns. And Ronnie Burns, who hasn't earned a kick all day, gets one given to him. Oh, Dent. What a shocking kick. Now, Ronnie. Come on, Ronnie. It's 11 points the difference. He's kicking across the breeze. He'll have to aim just about outside the right goalpost. First kick of the day. Oh, stayed out there. It stayed there all day for a behind. Oh, I give up, coach.
Typical left footer, left to right.
A bit stiff though, bringing it back into the wind. That should have gone the other way. In fact, he probably kicked it exactly where he wanted it to go. That's footy, as they say.
Well, it's 10 points the margin now with Leon Cameron. This first goal of this quarter will be so important. Leon Cameron drives right out to the half-back area. Geelong have got numbers. Sanderson did well. And the umpire sensibly, Brian Sheehan, Collinooks going crook, but you've got to have some chance to get rid of it. Gary Ayres on the phone. He'd be pretty pleased with what he has seen. He's remained positive the last few weeks. He has seen some good signs, even when they've been getting beaten. So again, the bounce. Oh, Minch did a nice little flick there. Cox tried to take it. Now it's Powell to centre wing. Good attempt by Collinook. Umpire calling for a throw-in. Oh, no, it was out in the full.
Ball play on, yeah.
So this is Brad Scholl. Oh, look at that. That is good to watch. And look at the kick too, finds Milburn. Scholl is a wizard. He's bringing it across the ground here to Raleigh. He loves to run, James Raleigh. He's going to drive it long. Oh, he's gone too wide. Oh, wait on. The mark is taken by Ronnie Burns. How did he mark that? He was out of position. And the ball floated over the back.
Gary Ayres' faith could be repaid yet.
Well, we only said if he fired up, they could win this game. He's on the right side of the ground this time for last goal for Geelong 5 minutes into the third quarter. Ronnie Burns kicks, and here's goal. So that's Ronnie Burns' first, and now, Gerard Healy, the margin only 4 points.
Yeah, and if you had your money on the Western Bulldogs, it'd be starting to get a little bit shaky, I would have thought, because you can just sense, we've sensed it all day, that the Cats have set themselves for this match, and they've got a major sniff now. And it's going to take a big performance by all the senior players of the Western Bulldogs to pull this one out.
Well, Ronnie Burns hadn't been near it all day, and in the last quarter, he's kicked it behind and then a goal, and they're within 4 points. West out of the middle for the Bulldogs. Good mark, Sanderson. Was it Sanderson? No.
It looked like Sanderson had it.
Yeah, McKinnon. McKinnon out towards the wing. Lee Colbert.
Got good hands, Gerard Colbert, hasn't he?
He's a good player, Pete, isn't he?
Now, what can Colbert do to set it up? Up towards half forward. Spinks held. He wants a free kick, and the ball's gone out of bounds, and we'll have a throw in. Player down hurt here.
Hamish Simpson, I think, Gerard.
The umpire having a look at him before saying to the boundary umpire, throw it in over Simpson's head. Palmed out by Roberts to Hocking. Hocking puts it out in front of goal, but Croft gets back. He didn't know what was coming. That was good. Eyes on the ball all the way. Riccardi wasn't the sort of bloke who was going to go through it, huh?
But it's gone short. Cameron, Dent. The bounce is important here. Montgomery, Raleigh, still Montgomery, close to the boundary line. No free kick. Oh, some good shepherding. They're off and running. The beautiful kick. Oh, Burns has dropped it. Wirra. Oh, Burns has dropped the sitter. Allows Wirra to give it to Smith. Smith is off and running. This might be an important turnover. He can run right up the ground. He's still going, Smith. And Rowan Smith drives it with a 60-metre kick to a contest. No mark. And it comes off the chest and threw for behind, but gee, if Burns could have marked that down the other end, they would have been off and running.
Bulldogs fans not happy about the Shepherd on centre wing. Definitely in the play, but probably one of those that was high. There was Ronnie dropping a sitter. Mensch couldn't mark. Colbert at the back does. Up to Spinks. Croft too quick. Good kick by Croft. At the back, Johnson. Brad Johnson, 45 metres from goal. They're under siege, the Doggies. They lead by 5 points. It would take his very best kick to goal from here. Across the breeze. It stays there. Grant. To go. No, behind. Well, the players signalled goal. The crowd signalled goal, but the only man who counted gave a behind.
And he's getting the rounds of the kitchen down there by those that do know, and that's the spectators. Let's just have a look. Oh, umpire.
That looked like a goal, didn't
It
it?
looked like a sausage roll from here.
I can't see. That was off his boot, wasn't it?
It was off his boot. It was a matter of whether the ball was over the line.
Well, it certainly didn't look like it. Here's Martin McKinnon. Oh, smothered off the boot. Good soccering. Steinfeld. He gives it off. Milburn. Hand pass is good. McKinnon's a big kick. Has a bounce. He should kick at 60. He does. He kicks at 65, in fact. Down the half forward. It's a loose ball. Riccardi. He's kicked the goal. Oh, what a game.
Scores level it off this oval.
Well, what a goal, particularly in the circumstances, given that it looked as if the umpire had made a very courageous decision down there in front of the faithful of the Bulldog. But they rebounded it beautifully, the catch, and a smart decision to put Riccardi one out in the goal square has paid early dividends. Scores level here at Optus Oval.
Well, the crowd going mad. There's only 17,500 of them, but they are making a hell of a racket. Hocking goes backwards from the middle, back to Hamish Simpson. And he was put down after he got rid of the kick. It's a relayed free.
Well, Spinks, is this Spinks? No. Oh, it's a big Spinks.
They're in the chop here. Riccardi. It's knocked outside the 50. Colbert gives chase. Cameron in front. Good contest. Well done, Lee Colbert. Very well done. Steinfeld. A fumble by Kilpatrick. It's soft ground there. The umpire will ball it up. Well, the score's level here after what looked like a goal to Darcy was ruled a behind, and within 30 seconds, Riccardi goal for the Cats.
The only thing I can think of up the other end is if that ball crossed the line in the marking contest. It's the only thing you can think of. I'm not sure, but it certainly looked like a goal. Oh, well done by Mensch. Ronnie Burns might... Oh, he's got it! Oh, he was nearly off. But Ronnie Burns is starting to weave a bit of magic at long last.
This is a Darren Jarman type game. Does nothing for 3 quarters and could win you the game.
I bet he got a bit of a burst at 3/4 time than Gary Ayres, but if he kicks this, they're 6 points up, and it'll be very difficult for the Bulldogs because they're coming home with a wet sail. Ronnie Burns, a big kick. It looks good. No! Oh, I can't beat him down that end. It was very, very close, but it didn't come off straight off the boot. Look at Gary Ayres, a disappointed Gary Ayres.
That looked like a goal. As
Well,
they
if you're
say,
on Cameron, you'd be thinking that perhaps just the kick to yourself and the play on would be the best option. He goes long anyhow.
Mensch at the back, missed with the punch. It comes to Colbert. Lee Colbert, the acting skipper today. A high ball going nowhere. Jose takes the mark. There is a way, Jose. Up he goes to Hudson, a long way up. He approaches the 50. Steers the ball in, and Colonyuk marks 45 metres from goal. Maybe only 40. And Steve Colonyuk, who's kicked 2 goals 2 today, can put the Doggies back in front if he goals from this. Midway through the last quarter. The kick has got the distance. It's home for goal. They lead by 5 points.
bit of support they can muster from the very pro-Bulldog fans. Very pro-Bulldog crowd it is. But Geelong aren't going to lay down here. They have just invested so much energy into this result that rest assured they'll be driving this one home right to the very finish. So it gets back to the midfield dominance. Which side can get the ball out in the next couple of goes?
5 points, the Western Bulldogs lead. Darcy gets it, almost a throw by Hocking. West is after it. Scott West hooks it out. Simon Cox, they got the loose men running. Oh, bad bounce. It allowed Wood to get in after it, but Dimartina did well. Can't get his boot to it. Well done by Bizzle. He's dispossessed. In went Ramiro. Have a look at that for pressure. Oh, boy. Did they tear in after that? As Gary Ayres earns a well-earned drink. He looks pretty calm. He'd be pretty pleased with what he's seeing out there today. They were red-hot favourites, the Western Bulldogs, in this game. Cats take it up to them. The Western Bulldogs by 5 points. Look at Hocking. Oh, he came through the pack. Gave it to Raleigh. Raleigh drives wide with a beautiful kick. He finds Hall. So Derek Hall way out at half forward. He can give a hand pass. No, he elects to put it up in front of goal. Ronnie Burns. Is that a mark to Colbert? No. Oh, dispossessed. Here's Burns. Open goal. That's another one. Oh, what a game.
Well, he could go from chump to champ.
He's that sort of player. And the pressure on Crediot was just enormous. We'll have a look at Derek Hall bringing the ball in. It spills to the back. Crediot gets hold of it. There it is there. Thinks he's got all the time in the world to get rid of it. Tackle from behind and swooping was Ronnie. I think he'd be just about looking for another opponent for Ronnie Burns. Just been a little bit slick for Wira in the last 10 minutes.
So the Cats lead by a point in a thriller at Optus Oval. West, who was benched in the third quarter. That's a high tackle.
He's good when it's tough, isn't he, Hocking?
Well, he created that goal, the last goal, because he came bursting through at ground level at that bounce down. He got the loose ball their way.
Gary Hocking up to 20 possessions. Here's Bizzle approaching 50. Breeze at his back. Goes long and high. Will it get there? Yeah! It landed on its point. I can't believe that didn't go through.
Believe it or not.
Oh, that has finished 1 millimetre short.
You wouldn't believe it. It bounced, as Drew said, 1 millimetre short. There's Darcy punching it over the line. But how stiff is that? It was beautifully shepherded and it was going to bounce through. Look at this, Gerard.
Well, it's just defies logic, doesn't it? Even defied our cameras.
Oh, for all the world, it was a goal.
Well, it's still in the Geelong half-forward area. Oh, well done by Milburn. Oh, they're working overtime. Gee, this has been an enjoyable game.
Great game of footy. And right now, you'd say that the Cats would have to be favourites. If the Bulldogs can get out of this, then they would put it down as one of their best victories this season, because they are just under siege here at Optus Oval.
Terry Wallace on the phone. A point the margin in favour of Geelong. It's been a top performance. They've taken it right up from the first mouth. Look at them tearing in. Mitch. David Mitch has got it. Here's a contest in front of goal. 2 on 2. Who's got the courage to go in and get it? Cox did. Couldn't get his... Well, he travelled about a metre. Bizzle in there after it. Powell did well to get it out to West. That was good play to Dent. And Dent will kick it out. Johnson, the racehorse. He can run. One bounce. Kicks it to half forward. The race is on. Hamish Simpson and Grant. And I'd say Hamish Simpson done a very good job.
Yep. And the ball moves so quickly that the boundary umpire was some 120 metres away from that that ball going over the line, as we see a change coming on, and Garlick has replaced Brad Wira.
The Simpsons had 15 possessions and Grant has had 14, but Grant's kicked just 1 goal. Mensch wins to Bizzle. Scholl. A little short kick in is good. Raleigh. Oh, on the foot of Hocking. He's being run down by Curley. Didn't see him coming. That's got to be ball, yes. Holding the ball, Gary Hocking. Advantage to the Bulldogs. Croft kicks into the man. It'll come back. It'll come back. It was an advantage until there was no advantage. Hocking doesn't like the decision, but it's West's free kick. He goes short to Collingwood. Just under 7 minutes remaining at Optus Oval. Geelong trying to break a 6-game losing streak. Lead by a point.
So it's centre of the ground with Cameron. Cameron to half forward. Is it a mark? Yes.
That was a brilliant kick, a brilliant lead, but the goal's still going to be kicked.
Rowan Smith's going to drive it long. It's a huge kick, a monstrous kick. And it just missed. So scores a level. Scores a level with 6.5 minutes to go, and Geelong kicking with the breeze. But you can score goals at both ends. Here's the kick in, a very important kick in this one. Was that high? No, said the umpire. Bizzle did well. He was grabbed, but he didn't have it. And the umpire will bounce.
Well, they've got a loose man out on centre wing, Derek Hall. They've just picked it up now, the Bulldogs, but if they hadn't just pushed that one forward, it was away with the Cats.
What a last quarter. A goal that wasn't by Darcy. A shot by Bizzle that looked for all the world a goal until it bounced on its point and bounced away from goal. And from the ball up, this will be a free kick for the Cats.
50 metres.
Mensch goes quickly by hand. It is going to be 50. 50 metres to Mensch.
And that's for mouthing off, Drew.
Yep.
So it'll be against Darcy.
Geez, he's a fair old 50.
That might have been a double 50.
So Mensch has gone from half back to half forward. He still wouldn't make the distance, you wouldn't think. Riccardi's there. Colbert. Peter Riccardi! The Cats lead by 6 points.
You can't afford to give 50 metres away for things like mouthing off, Jared.
No, that was just unthinkable, that transgression by Luke Darcy. You've just got to keep your cool. There's just no way known you can give away a 50. In fact, it ended up being probably more like a 70. All of a sudden, the Riccardi move from Gary Ayres looks like a match winner.
6 points the margin. The Cats lead. Mensch jumps up high. Martin tries to crash his way through the pack. Here's Cox. Now Ramiro. Oh, look at the tackling on West. Hocking ferociously goes in, and they've got the numbers in there, Geelong, and they just keep it in there. 6 points in front and kicking with the breeze. They'll be hard to beat from here. Terry Wallace looking on. Bulldogs will remain on top, but they could have gone a game clear, but there's still 5.5 minutes. Gary Ayres looks pretty calm.
He's doing a good job of acting there.
Mensch and Darcy. Darcy got a kick to it. Here's Darren Milburn. He's caught. Umpire calling play on. Still on centre wing. West did well. Got it to Matthew Dent. He's caught. Loses the ball. Here comes Bizzle. He's a good young player, this guy. Bizzle on the left. Colbert! Oh! Running back with the flight of the ball has taken a great mark.
Well, Matthew Dent just tried to do too much in a pretty hot situation. And he was grabbed from behind. The turnover has seen Geelong with a chance now to probably sew this game up.
Well, he's kicked it across to Derek Hall. Hall will kick from 40 metres, and if he kicks it, they'll be up by 12 points. The Western Bulldogs, hot favourites. Geelong, and undermanned Geelong, have been very, very good. Even a point would be handy here. But he's kicked the goal. 12-point margin for Geelong.
Coaches are reminded to remain off the arena until after the second siren. Coaches are kindly reminded.
And the tackler there was young Justin Wood, who not only has kicked 4 goals, but laid a great tackle in midfield to turn it over.
Oh, they've got some new players here at Geelong. They've got some talented youngsters. Bizzle, Milburn, Woods, obviously a good player. We know about King. He hasn't had his best game, but he's an exciting talent. Snell, of course, has been around for a number of years, but they've also been led by the Warrior in Gary Hocking.
Well, the Cats will be hard to beat from here. Milburn. It was Wood getting it down from Mensch. Hand pass goes astray, but Cats there in numbers. Popped up by Mensch to Hall. Derek Hall off the left. 2 players on the deck. And Pretty Hook regains his footing from Riccardi and takes the mark. Out to Cameron, whose 150th milestone game could be soured by defeat here at the hands of the Cats. And how often have the Cats done this to the Bulldogs? They've beaten them in the last 5 finals. Hudson's kick by, gee, this kid Bizzle, the ex-Queenslander, is he a player? It comes to Wood, who's kicked 4. The kick by Justin Wood. Lucks of fortune here. Colbert tackled when he didn't have it. Play on, said the umpire. Scooped off the deck by Riccardi. He goes to the goal square. Ronnie! Not this time. Garlick breathing down Ronnie's neck.
He gives it to halfback. This is Clough. The Bulldogs have got 3 minutes in which to score a couple of goals. Matthew Dent, he's got the loose man in Montgomery. That was good play. Montgomery's got to move it quickly. He stops. He hesitates. On the left foot. Oh, he's put it up in the air. Bizzle couldn't mark. In they go. Breaking of the tackle there by Colinook. He kicks in front of goal. And Rowan Smith has marked and will kick from 35. The game's not over yet.
Well, this is an absolute must for the Bulldogs. Kicking from set shots isn't the strength of Rowan Smith, however. But he's got this one home.
He certainly has, right through the middle. 6 points the margin now. The Cats in front.
Well, who are you backing, Pete?
I'd still back the side 6 points up, I think.
Absolutely. You'd have to go with the Cats at the moment. They've done everything right, but they are playing against the premiership favourites. Seems to take some, put some pressure on the midfield players at the moment. They must get the ball out, the Bulldogs.
Mensch has been great in the ruck. I wonder if he would ruck so much if Scott Wind had played. Wind a late minute withdrawal. 50-50 between the ruckman and the ball underfoot. Another ball up. Just over 2 minutes left. What a turn-up if the Cats can hang on and win. Mensch gets it going Geelong's way. Hall's been all right. He's had his down periods this year. Done well today. Cameron. Beautiful off the left hand. Johnson can't get a handle on the footy. Bizzle, well done again, mate. West goes through. Smith. Garlick. Inside 50, a mark might win the game. Comes to the front of the pack. The hand pass out, and a shot by Hudson. Levels and scores! Hudson's kicked 4, and it's all tied up with a minute and a half left.
Great passage of play. Well done to Scotty West, who just kept burrowing in and getting that loose ball. This is smart play also. And it gets to the best player on the ground for conversion. What a fantastic game of footy. Just been absolutely spine-tingling from quarter time on. These players have just given it everything. Let's hope we've got another 1.5 minutes of the same, Pete.
Well, it all comes down to this centre bounce again. Who's going to come out with it? And it's locked in there for another bounce. 1 minute and 20 seconds left in this game. I think a draw would be a worthy result. I don't think Geelong deserved to lose, that's for sure. Gary Ayres. But wonder what he's feeling now. Geelong have got a chance. Oh, you've got to try and get it out. Oh, I knew the umpire was going to play it. You could see it.
Can't jump on the footy, but
you've got to try and get it out. You've got to make some attempt. Colinook, a gutsy umpiring decision. It was Brad Scholl who dived on top of it. Colinook goes short. Up they go. Oh, free kick. Free kick to Geelong. Advantage paid. No advantage. He'll have to come back. Oh, good umpiring again. Good umpiring.
What a game.
It'll come back to Sanderson at half back. A point either way will win it.
And the Bulldogs had their chance then, didn't they? They had the loose man. It was a great interception by Sanderson.
Oh, here's McKinnon, who's a huge kick. He kicks at 60. Snell. Is that a mark?
That's a mark.
Well, oh, here's a chance. Great shot. They want it behind. Can they kick it? Off the side of the boot. Was by Steinford. That's a point.
It's a mark.
It's a point. It might be the winning point because there's 28 seconds to go.
Jeez, it was a controversial decision in itself because Scott West had a hell of a long grip on that. But it was, well, gee, it was a point.
Yeah, he didn't complete the mark in the field of play. And the Cats lead 97 to 96. 23 seconds left. Maybe there's still time. Cox up towards centre wing. Johnson, 14 seconds left. Johnson's kick. Here's Romero in space. If he kicks it and it's a mark, they can still win. Hudson, that's socked away by Hocking, but defensively, a fumble. It comes to Curley. Oh, Simpson. The Cats have won by a point. After 6 losses in a row, they've beaten the league leaders by a point. What a performance by Geelong. A team of kids, just about half a league side on the sidelines, and they pull this out of nowhere.
Yeah, that was just one of the most entertaining games we've seen here. Full credit to Geelong, who just fought back, seemingly gone just midway through the second term. And then they kicked 3 goals in 2 minutes to really stamp their authority on the half. And well done to Buller Hocking, and all the players have had a tremendously difficult 6 weeks. 6 losses in a row, but this was a magnificent victory.
And all the time, Jared, their coach, Gary Ayres, saw positives in some of those losses. He reckoned he saw some good signs from some of the young blokes, and they certainly showed it today. Some of those kids like Hamish Simpson and Bizzle and Milburn, they're going to be very good players.
She's going to be a pretty good drive back down the Geelong Highway today, and well, the Bulldogs left 2 under wide.
And their seconds had a big win, knocking off the top dogs in the Bulldogs, so they've had a good day, the Cats.
Well, they haven't had a chance to do this for a long time, to go and thank their fans for coming up the highway and following them through thick and thin. They've lost games to Brisbane, Collingwood, Port Adelaide, Richmond, St Kilda and Sydney on the way to this great win over the league leaders at Optus Oval.